Hello interwebs, welcome to No Post on Sundays, the video series about PCs that don't post that may or may not be posted on a Sunday. I've got a PC here that apparently starts up for a couple of seconds and then turns off again. So let's get the cover off just so we can see what's going on. I'm going to turn on the power supply, which the eagle-eyed among you will notice is a CIT, which is bad. And let's just see what it does. Oh. Okay, did you see that? Yeah, there we go. This is known as quarter fan spin, where the fans spin for a quarter of a second, or you just get a twitch out of it, basically. One more time. Yeah. I'm going to turn that off. There's a good chance that this is a short. This is quite possibly a short circuit somewhere in the system, and that's overcurrent protection kicking in. Or the power supply is stone dead, one or the other. So we need to proceed a little bit carefully, otherwise you can get an ignition situation. Standby power and ignition. Whoa! Darn hell. Okay, let's start out by unplugging the existing power supply. And I'll take out the graphics card as well. This is an AMD Ryzen system, and it probably doesn't have integrated graphics. However, given that the problem we've got is no power, we're not really fussed about getting a picture out of the system yet. What are you? You're a 3060 Ti? Huh. I'm surprised a 3060 Ti has dual 8 pins on it. Okay, I'm going to unplug all the front panel stuff as well, just for good measure. Come on. Oh, it's always the USB that gives problems. I hate that connector so much. Okay, right, now at this point it would be extremely tempting to just plug in another power supply and hit the power button, but as I mentioned, this might be a short circuit, so I'm going to just quickly check the resistance across the EPS connector first. We're going to check if the CPU power supply is shorted. So I've put a multimeter into resistance mode, and I'm just going to put that across the top and bottom row of the EPS connector. And we've got, yeah, 120 kilo ohms, 110 kilo ohms, lots of resistance. It's not shorted is the main thing. So let's see, am I going to check the ATX? I don't think I will, because I don't think there's going to be a problem there. The kind of place where we're going to actually start fires will be the VRMs for the CPU. So that gives me enough confidence to plug in a different power supply and see if this is just as simple as a bad power supply. So let's get another unit. Right, that's ATX 24 pin and EPS 8 pin plugged in, which is all we need to make it turn on. So I'll put the power cable into that guy, turn that on, and I've unplugged the front panel, so I'm just going to stab the power pins, which are there. Alright, that looks pretty good. I haven't plugged in a beep speaker or anything like that. However, given the fact that it has turned on and stayed on, I think that's a fairly conclusive test so far. Fine. I'll turn that off again. So let's see if the customer's power supply will turn on under its own steam. I'll just plug in a capo here, which will just tell that power supply to switch on when it has power. And I'll just put this upright. And then we can have a look and see if the fan on it spins. Whoop. Right, sorry in advance for the flashbang of the white case. Let's turn this on and see what happens. So, when I turn on the power here, we should see this fan start spinning, but it's probably just going to twitch. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So, it twitched. So, it's definitely not the platform. This power supply is still plugged into just other stuff in the PC. So let's see what else it's plugged into. This is probably just a bad power supply, but we'll go through the motions. What have we got plugged in here? Just some RGB shenanigans. Right, we've got some daisy-chained fans. And I may as well pull all of these wires out because, like, this power supply is probably coming out. That's what I was looking for. This connector here, this goes up to the top panel where there's a built-in RGB controller, which is where which is one of the things I wanted to unplug, because the only thing that's actually plugged in back here now is just the top panel's RGB. So I can't see a world where that's causing this problem, but it is a thing that's plugged in. I'm just going to carry on removing this power supply because I'm pretty certain this is just a dead power supply at this point. The only thing that's making me hesitate is just, as I say, that fan twitch. That is what a short circuit looks like as well. So, all right, pull this biscuit tin out of here. All right, so for those of you who don't know, CIT are a ultra budget brand. They are the cheapest of the cheap. They're like store brand but with the white label on it kind of thing. So not like the store brand that you buy because it's good value, like the cheapest one on the shelf kind of thing. And this is supposed to be one of their good ones as well. Apparently it's an 80 plus bronze and apparently it's 700 watts. Okay. But yeah. You can stick these in like an office box that has like 100 watts of load in it because it doesn't matter. But no, you don't ever put one of these in a gaming PC, basically. I don't care if it says 700 watts on there. There's no planet where I would trust this with a 700 watt load. So yeah, we'll just fire this thing up one last time while it's not plugged into anything at all. And if it turns out to be that it was the RGB controller that was upsetting it, then I'll still say that this is a tap power supply. Right, so still got the capo plugged in, so when I flick the power switch, it should turn on. But instead, it's going to fan twitch. That's dead, Jim. All right, new power supply for this thing. Okay, right. The power supply I bought for this is this NZXT C750 bronze unit. And I've got this because this one comes in at a C tier on the power supply tier list, which is fine. And it was really cheap for a bronze rated premium brand power supply. I think it was like 50 quid or something like that. And there are other power supplies that are cheaper than that. You can find stuff that's in the low to mid £40, but you're dropping down into really low tier power supplies there, which are going to be kind of a roll of the dice. There are some there that I would probably say I would run the risk on. However, this one was like, for an extra £5, we could get one that was C tier, and for a mid-range gaming PC like this, it's completely fine. So, let's get this guy fitted. Only has a 120mm fan on it, which is kind of annoying. 140 really should be the standard, but I think they've done that because this is quite a short power supply. For a 750 watt, it's very short now I think about it. Yeah, that's why it's got the 120mm on it. A 140mm fan obviously would be quieter, and bronze-rated power supplies can generate some noise. I wouldn't say a devastating amount unless it's a really bad one, but it's a thing. Right, I'm going to go into speed up mode now while I fit this power supply, because there's not really a lot to say, just a lot of plumbing to do. White case flashbang. Alright, that's looking pretty tidy in there now. So the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that I daisy-chained the power connectors on the graphics card. This power supply has a weird choice. It's got dual EPS connectors on it for the CPU, but only a single PCI Express chain, which I think is very odd for a 750 watt power supply. I would absolutely expect a 2 chains on that. So really weird choice by NZXT there. It doesn't matter too much. The question on whether you can daisy chain or not depends on the graphics card itself. On a premium power supply, like the 8-pin connector is rated for 150 watts, which is why this graphics card has 2 connectors on it. However, the reality is that a premium power supply, the 8-pin connectors are easily capable of 300, no problem whatsoever. So, and the cables all the more so. So with that assumption in mind, this being a 3060 Ti, there's no planet where this thing is drinking 300 watts. So daisy chaining the connectors together is completely fine. You don't want to do this on a high power graphics card, but on a mid-ranger like this, where you know that the graphics card's TDP is realistically going to be sub 300, it's not a big deal. Right, we'll just turn it on and make sure it starts up, and then we're all done. Go. All right, that has turned on, stayed on, and we have a post screen as well. Excellent, and that's booting Windows. Right, thank you everyone for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.